Hello everybody, it's good to be back. Sorry I've not been around for a good long time, just been extremely busy, but I made a point of getting back to it today. I needed to get back to it. So hopefully we're going to do this on at least a weekly basis. If I can get more done I will, but at least it's going to be on a weekly basis from here on out. So what we're going to do today, headlines, US cases, normal stuff, US cases, followed by Florida cases, and then we're going to look at hospitalizations in Florida, and then the R rate map for the states, and then we're going to look at a new thing with it, which is vaccinations. So how's that doing in terms of the US as a whole, and then how's that doing with Florida. Travel restrictions, just a reminder of travel restrictions, a reminder of park reservations, when are they needed and where are they needed. We're going to look at Disney parks availability, and then we're going to look at park hours for Disney parks. We're going to look at the same for Universal parks and SeaWorld, and then we're going to finish up with the weather. So let's kick straight into it. Before we get going with the detail, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get this stuff anytime it comes out. If you like the video, please do give it a like. If you like the new format, which is, you'll see it right now, please do let me know. If you want the old format, please let me know as well. Stuff that I'm not touching on, there's tons of stuff obviously happening in and around Florida and around Orlando. If there's anything in particular you want me to talk about or want me to take a video of, let me know and I'll do my best to do that. So here we go. New cases as of yesterday in the US were 106,054, with Florida bringing up 7,486 of those cases. Graphically, you can see the 106,054 at the extreme right there as of yesterday. It's kind of masking some data up and around it, but that is pretty much the week that we've had. This last week is the best week we've had since early November, so good stuff. That's the 7-day moving average that you can see there. Active cases in the US, just under, shade under 10 million, 9.8 million. And you can see that that blue line is just starting to dip down as we get to that blue dot at the end there. So that is really good news. Less active cases means less potential active infections. Daily number of deaths in the US yesterday reported was 3,092. That's come down a little bit. You can see that it's kind of peaked a couple of times now. Hopefully that is on a downward trend. Obviously that's going to come a week or 2 or 3 weeks after cases are found, but hopefully we're on a downward trend there. Into Florida, number of cases yesterday reported 7,486, of which Orange County, which is all of Universal Studios, all of SeaWorld and most of Disney World, 394 cases reported, no deaths reported yesterday. The daily new cases, I'm not sure why that is out a little bit, 8,253 cases reported. You can see it's kind of blippy, but we had our peak. It appears that we had our peak sometime in early January. That's now coming down. It's stepping down a little bit, but hopefully as we get down further, that's going to move down. That 7-day average is going to move down a lot quicker than it is right now. Active cases in Florida, you could see from the US that we were moving down slightly. It seems that we're on or about the peak, maybe slightly over the peak. 819,000 people currently infected in Florida. And then daily new deaths in Florida, still upwards a little bit, I guess. We're still peaking a little bit on deaths, number of deaths. 178 is pretty well up there in terms of the number of daily deaths in Florida, but hopefully as we move through the coming weeks, that's going to move down. Looking at the R rate, if you remember what we used to do, we used to have a graph for R rate in Florida. That's now disappeared off the internet. So what they've got now instead is the R rate across all the states. You can see now that only one state in Florida, one state in America is looking a likely increase in R rate. You can see that Florida is likely decreasing, so that's good. States around about us, Alabama and Georgia, are looking good. They are decreasing. So that's all good. In terms of vaccine data, total number of doses administered across the US, just a touch over 39 million, so over 11%. And then you can see that the graph there showing that the doses in Florida, 3,800,000, and total doses administered 2,400,000, and receiving 2 doses over 500,000. So really good. 11,108 per 100,000. So that's a touch over 11% of the population has had at least 1 dose. So that's good. Looking at the entry to United States and who can come in, who can't. There we go. United Kingdom, Republic of Ireland and the European Schengen area, all those countries listed there, may not enter, or people that have been into those countries for the last 14 days may not enter. That doesn't mean that you can't go outside of those countries listed to another country that's not listed and then come into the US. You can do that, but I guess you're going to have a lot of holidays stoked up, or you're going to have to be retired in order to do that, but you still can do that. Looking at face coverings, just a reminder of face coverings. This is Disney. Everybody 2 and up, no exceptions for disabilities or anything like that, and no what they call neck gaiters. It has to be around the ears and under the chin and can't be flapping around a bit. So that's Disney's rules. Looking at Universal Studios, it's under the age of 3 may get away with not wearing a mask. So if you are age 2, it's different. You don't need to wear a mask. Age 3 and up, you do. We were there yesterday. Neck gaiters are allowed at Universal, although it doesn't say that here. They definitely are. You'll see that not permitted is bandanas, but bandanas seem to fall into a different category than neck gaiters. And then at SeaWorld, pretty much the same as, 2 and up needs to wear a face mask, but it doesn't have to be a mask. It can again be a neck gaiter. So it's a kind of hybrid of Disney in terms of age and Universal in terms of what's allowed in. Park reservations. Disney are running a park reservation systems for those that are new to this channel, and you can see that if you're a resort guest, you can make your reservations for the duration of your resort stay. Existing ticket holders can make reservations for the number of days they hold the tickets, and annual pass holders can do 3 days at any time. There are different calendars for different types of ticket. In terms of Universal, there are no reservations. There isn't a reservation system. The parks have reached capacity a number of times recently, over Christmas especially, but they haven't reached capacity since Christmas, and in the midweek it's very quiet. As I say, we were there yesterday. They say that they're 35% capacity. I'm not sure. We had wait times up to 75 minutes yesterday, but no reservation is required. It used to be that if you were staying in a resort, a Universal resort, that you got in first. That is not the case. They're advising strongly that you get there for the early entry, or at least park opening, and then you're guaranteed to get into the park. If they do fill up, you will not be allowed in, but you will be on the priority wait list. So when people come out, you will be first in if you stay at a resort hotel there. And for SeaWorld, there is a reservation system in place. You need to go on their website and reserve your days. You can do that 1 per ticket currently. You'll see for the Disney Parks availability for February, it's just Hollywood Studios that's causing a bit of an issue on the weekends. Everything else is clear, and that's for theme park ticket guests, resort guests and annual pass holders. For October the 1st, 2021, which is Magic Kingdom's 50th birthday, you're out of luck altogether, I'm afraid, whether you hold a single day ticket, whether you're a resort guest, or whether you're an annual pass holder. They're all done. Now the only hope is that, because the capacity is again around about 35% is what we believe, Disney never tell us, but the only hope is that they increase the capacity for the parks, and especially Magic Kingdom, and therefore more tickets become available, more space becomes available. I'm going to be keeping an eye out on that, because I haven't got a ticket for October the 1st and I would like to go. Park hours for Magic Kingdom, there we go. For Hollywood Studios, Epcot and Animal Kingdom for February. Blizzard Beach doesn't reopen in February. It reopens on March the 6th. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people going to that just because it's reopening and it hasn't been open for like a year. Universal and Islands of Adventure reservations. There's the park hours for Universal and IOA, and there's Volcano Bay. So Volcano Bay does reopen in February the 27th at 10 AM. If you're an annual pass holder, 3-park annual pass holder, or you are staying at the resorts, you will be able to get in a little earlier, and I would urge you to do so, because there are not so many sunbeds with shade, and it does get very, very hot. And that park may reach capacity even on February 27th, just because it's reopening it. And again, it hasn't been opened for a year, so it's likely to get filled up, I think. Here's SeaWorld's park hours for February, and we're going to round things out with the weather. So weather for the next 10 days, not dipping under 70 during the daytime, which is nice because it has been fairly cool here. Okay, so what does that all mean? Let's have just a look at travel restrictions and where they might go with vaccinations. So I'm told, I have read, that once we get to 60% vaccinations in the US or anywhere, then we're likely to get herd immunity. I don't know whether that's true or not, that's just what I've read. So we're at around about 11% right now. The president wants to get 1.5 million people vaccinated every day, so we're up around 10 million per day. We'll need to get to around 300 million-ish, 250 million maybe-ish to get this herd immunity. So another 220 million to go. So maybe in 6 months' time, less than 6 months' time, we're going to get to a point where we've got 60% people vaccinated. So that'll be great. Now, I guess the big question is, are we going to get to a point where we're going to get passports issued for people who've got vaccinations so that they can go to different countries outside the US if you live in the US, and if you're from outside the US, is there going to be any reciprocal agreement with the US for vaccination passports and or COVID-19 negative tests within a 72-hour period? I'm really hoping that this COVID-19 vaccination passport comes into play, and that will mean that people should be then free to travel between the countries that have this reciprocal agreement. I hope that's going to be the case. It will help the airline industry no end. It will help, obviously, Orlando no end. All of the hotels here need external sources of travel, albeit that the majority of people that come to Orlando are from within the United States. There are still quite a lot of people who come from outside the United States, and there are still quite a lot of people who don't want to travel because of COVID and the risk of catching COVID. So it would be nice if planes were filled with people who have the COVID passports. Then that would make people, I guess, less wary of travelling. So yeah, that's my kind of hope for today, is that we get to this stage where we've got passports. That's pretty much it for the first time back in a few months. So I hope you got something out of that. I will be back next weekend with more. I'll try to get into a bit more detail of what's going on in the parks, anything that new that's coming up, a bit of the Velociraptor the Velociraptor coaster in Islands of Adventure, and whatever else is going on in the parks, and anything else that's happening in and around Orlando. So that's it for today. I'll see you next week. Take care up until then. Stay well, stay safe. Cheers for now. Bye bye.